Yo, what's up guys? So welcome back. Another tune, or at least another archetype that's, going to be released in the TCG, has been released in the TCG, is KEWL TUNE, Killer Tune. I prefer Killer Tune, but anyway. I think KEWL TUNE is the archetype that's probably has the most potential to become somewhat of a top tier deck compared to the other two. But I mean, that can change with Konami deciding to give us new support for any of the other archetypes. So get them while they are kinda cheap. Obviously, like always, again, huge shout out to TCG Vision. Again, I'll leave his link in the video description. Thanks, Yella, again, for sponsoring the video. Definitely take a look at the pinned comment for the giveaway. Obviously, the box here, as in the other two videos. So let's see, what can we do? The essence of the deck is that you're playing a bunch of tuners, obviously, very similar to Helki Fibrex. Plus, the gimmick of the deck is that the synchros, they need multiple tuners to be special summoned, and then, you'll gain those beneficial effects. Main deck. So the first one here is the tour guide of the deck. So essentially, that's Q, and what Q does, again, basically the tour guide of the deck only works upon normal summon, but as you know, their field spell essentially gives you an extra normal summon for the turn, for the tuners, and when this one is normal summoned, you can special summon a tuner from the deck, for example, or from graveyard. And I feel the card to go to is your Red Nova. When this card was revealed a lot later, I think the last card was revealed from the archetype, is that people started buying out this card. Red Nova is, when it's used for like a synchro summon, at least for a synchro monster that needs 2 tuners at least, you can special summon a Fire Fiend from the deck. And this also works during your opponent's turn. And as you know, this deck has the capability to play during your opponent's turn. So this is an essential package. Plus, all of the KEWL Tune or Killer Tunes, they also get beneficial effect when they are sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon. So that's important. This one, excavate 2 and then banish 1 from the top of their deck. You can pick and set the other one to the bottom, or leave it on top. So it gives you information about your opponent's deck, which is kind of important, especially when going first. So no question, no debate, this should probably be staple for a pure deck. So we spoke about Red Nova being used for a synchro summon, and then we're able to special summon the Fire Fiend from our deck. That's only one target, and that's this one. It's debatable. You can potentially drop this down to 2, because again, you have so many ways to search your tuners and whatever, right? So what does this do? This is essentially a Stratos. Again, upon normal or special summon, you can search one of your other cool tuners or tunes from the deck, but not level 3, so it needs to be the other level, right? Level 2, essentially. Plus, when Rico is used for a synchro summon, you can destroy a spell or trap from your opponent. So it's essentially a mystical space typhoon. Right? We have Mix. Mix is very similar to Rico, is that Mix is also a Stratos, but it's the level 2 Stratos. So upon summon, it also searches a cool tune monster from the deck, but not level 2, which she's level 2, so she will search one of the other level 3s. Plus, when this one is used for a synchro summon, you can destroy a monster. So quite nifty, right? Like this one destroys spells and traps. This one destroys monsters from your opponent when they are used for a synchro summon. The last cool tune is Clip. And Clip is also one of those cards that it reminds me, what's the level 2 called? It's is it the one of like a Pegasus card that you can reveal Clip during your opponent's turn, main phase, and then drop it to the field, and then immediately synchro summon using itself, and then, as you know, like all of the others, most of the others, you can use a tuner from your hand to synchro summon. So very similar to the level 3 synchro, what is it called? Tatsunoko, yeah, that's the name. So essentially turn 0, you can reveal it, drop it, and then synchro summon during your opponent's turn, because there are synchros that, have some floodgate effects, interact with your opponent, and basically prevent them from playing the game, depending on which matchup you're playing against. That's it for the regular monsters. So for the spells, they have a lot of strong cards, spells and traps. The first one here, KEWL Tune Synchro, can be activated up to twice per turn. It's a quick play spell. Essentially, this card you're probably searching most of the time and setting, because you want to activate it during your opponent's turn as well, to search any of your KEWL Tune monsters, and then immediately synchro summon during the turn. So essentially, again, quick play spell during your opponent's turn, search, and then synchro summon. The field spell is a bit iffy. I currently have it at 3. It's not it's okay. It's you could potentially, it gives the deck basically an extra normal summon. It's a cool tune card, so it's searchable. You can tribute a tuner, for example, to search another tuner from the deck, or special summon it to the field. So it's like an Helki Fibrex, a needle fiber. Again, quite nifty for the archetype. So it's debatable. Like, do you really need it at 3? Maybe, because again it opens up so many cool plays and interactions with your opponent. I was about to say random card, but that's not the case. Synchro Overtake was also reprinted, I think, in the set, and it's essentially a hero lift, so depending on which one you want to summon, you can reveal the Synchro, the name, and then special summon the one from the deck. So again, debatable because it's only once per turn, so you might maybe want to cut one out from the main deck. But again, it's up to you. And then last, I do play the two of the traps. Essentially is that, again, searchable because it's a KEWL TUNE card, and if you're activating this one, you can target one of your KEWL TUNE monsters in the graveyard, copy its effect whenever it's sent to the graveyard for a synchro summon, so copy Mix to pop a monster, copy Rico to pop a spell and trap, and then add the monster back to the hand. So, I mean, it's cool, but again, going second, this might be iffy, so I could see myself cutting one from the main deck. Fua, no, it's not a tuner, but it's Fua. You know, nowadays you need 3 Fua, I guess, in mostly any deck. Only 2 Veilers, but again, Veiler not alone negates the effect, it's also a level 1 tuner, so together with one of your level 3s, you can go for your level 4, for example. But again, Veiler is debatable. To cut it as a whole for other targets, you will see in a few moments. Ghost Ogre, I guess nowadays it's somewhat cool in the current meta. It's a level 3 tuner that could come up. It's essentially a tuner that, you know, you can tribute, sacrifice with your field spell, so it's, as a whole, probably one of the better synchro hand traps, or tuner hand traps, I have to say. Droll, because it's Droll and you don't want your opponent to play the game. Ash, again, one of those tuners, right? And then the last 2 cards, flex spots, I guess. Again, 40 cards sharp is called by the grave for your opponent's, I don't know, Fua or something like that. And then Vanadium Reframing, because you have a way to go for like your level 8 Synchro of Vanadium, you know, or Visa Starfrost rather, and then Surge Reframing as your counter trap, basically another layer of negation. So the extra deck is not that tight. There is room, again, depends on which cards you're putting in your side deck. So I'll come back to that in a couple of moments, but some generic tokens. The first one here is your level 4. Again, it's also a tuner. Essentially, you want to make this one as soon as possible during your turn, for example, or during your opponent's turn, because this one searches basically any KEWL tuner card, adds it to your hand, and potentially play during your opponent's turn. Plus, when this one is used for a synchro summon, right, and sent to the graveyard, it's a compulse, so it bounces a card from your opponent. So, and as I mentioned before, it searches. So this is an essential card. The next one also lets you play during your opponent's turn. This is probably the second one you're going for. Again, depends a little bit, but you know what I mean. This also needs mix. That's important, right? And your remix is level 5. Again, 3 plus 2 essentially. And your remix, you have the capability to just pass and then tag her out, tribute herself, send her to the graveyard, and then take a look at your graveyard and pick 2 tuners. So let's say we have Red Nova and Rico. I don't know, it doesn't really matter for now. So we pick 2 tuners, one of them is added back to the hand, while the other one is summoned. And then immediately after this, you can synchro summon. So what you can essentially do is maybe even, well, let's say instead of Red Nova, we can take back one of our hand traps. Like let's say we have Veiler in hand or Ash, because we Ash their Fua. We can get back 2 tuners, we keep the Veiler in hand, and then special summon the KEWL Tune to the field, and then synchro summon after this. So basically, you can recycle your hand traps, if that makes sense. So that, again, really nifty is, I will call it RS. Also a level 5. This one needs Rico. I compare this one to, what is it called? DDD Siegfried. So it's basically an Omni negation. Well, as soon as your opponent like activates a card on field, obviously they at least you can banish a tuner from your graveyard and then negate that face-up card. So very similar to DDD Siegfried. So it negates a face-up card. Omni negation, almost. Plus, this is your Floodgate monster. Whenever this one is face up on the field, it will add 1 level to all of your opponent. Oh, what is it? 1700 or lower attack monsters. So, like against a lot of decks, this can screw your opponent over. I'm looking at Rizal. I'm looking at Yummy, for example. So all of those monsters that are, you know, screwed over because their level is being added. So not level 4, for example, or whatever. This is basically your walking Floodgate, and potentially you can make this turn 0, and then if your opponent plays one of those decks, they might be screwed and they might have to pass. The last one I feel is just fine as a 2-off. It's your level 6, could be important, right? 4 and 2, essentially for bounce and pop, for example, or whatever. Again, depends on which ones you're using. And your Loudness War, essentially 0 attack, but again, if your opponent has like a tuner and with your field spell, this will become like 3k attack. Could be important, but most importantly, whenever your opponent activates a card effect, that's once per turn, you can banish one of your tuners in the graveyard, your KEWL tuners, and then this one will copy the effect when the tuner is sent to the graveyard for synchro summon. So let's say your opponent activates a card effect, we banish Rico from the graveyard, we copies Rico's effect when she's used for a synchro summon, so that's popping a spell or trap. And then the last card for now, so you still have a couple of flex spots, is again, we talked about this one, the Visa's Amritara, I believe the name is, yeah, because we can search the reframing too, and on essentially another board of, at least another card, another Omni negation. So there's room for improvement, and depends on which other cards you want to add in your main deck. Again, I've seen builds, not necessarily side decking or main decking cherries, like you can add Ripper to your extra deck and other stuff, other essential stuff, looking at the Link 1 from Yami, and there are more, key cards in the current format that you might want to cherries. And the cool thing about this deck is that sure, you might have dead hand traps in your hand, but you can just use these, for your field, for their synchro summon. So it's, really cool that you can use those dead hand traps in your hand for your synchro summon. Okay, so a 1-card combo, standard combo to end on a kind of disgusting opening board, again off of only 1 card, at least only after a 1-card combo, so that's really nifty. So let's take a look. Let's say we open the quick play spell, that's your searcher. We're activating this one. As you know, search a monster, and you can potentially synchro summon after this. So now we don't know the other bricks in our hand or the other cards in our hand. So now we're just essentially searching the Tori Guides. Again, we are able to normal summon the Tori Guides, the Q, and your Q special summons your Red Nova from the deck. This is your level 4 synchro play, and again, depending on how you want to arrange your chain links, you probably just want to go for, where is it, the level 4, obviously, triggering its effect to search, I guess, Chainlink 1, Red Nova Chainlink 2, and KEWL TUNE Q Chainlink 3. Look at 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, banish one, and then, arrange one on top or bottom. Red Nova triggers to special summon, where is it, the Fire Fiend being Rico, she will trigger in a few moments, and then again, Maker will search something from the deck. I guess searching one of, you could search the field spell, but I guess here searching the quick play spell to set and play during your opponent's turn, for now I feel is much more important. So Rico triggers to search the other one that we don't have, and that's Mix. Now, during our turn still, we can just synchro summon and use a tuner from hand, as you know, to go for the Mix, the remix, the level 5, the one that lets us tag out during their turn, essentially. So this is our end board. Doesn't really seem too threatening, right? But this is a bounce during their turn. This is a tag out, right, during their turn. Plus, not to forget, we have the quick play synchro during their turn, search to synchro summon, and 4 cards in hand, essentially. So now what we do is pass, and then depending on, do they commit to the field or whatever, what's our matchup? Again, we had free information because we used Q's effect as well. You could potentially tag out, so we can use the level 5, tribute her, and then target 2 tuners essentially from your graveyard. You know how it goes. One goes to the field and one is added to the hand. Doesn't really matter too much, so we go for Q again and we go for Red Nova to trigger Red Nova during our opponent's turn. So this is again another level 4 synchro play. Where is it? Again, very similar chain links, I guess. So Chainlink 1, I guess, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. So again, free information about their top deck and potentially banishing 1 card. I don't know, could be important. Red Nova triggers to special summon Rico again from the deck. Rico will trigger in a few moments, and this will give us another generic search, I guess, searching another quick play spell for next turn, if there is going to be a next turn. So this is essentially our hand. Now, Rico will trigger to search another one of your level 2s, so we search Clip. Clip is the one that we can quick drop during their turn and then synchro summon immediately. Again, depends on what your opponent does. We can drop the Clip to the field and then synchro summon using the level 4 and the level 2. So this means we can go for a level 6 synchro play, so go for boss monster number 1, I guess. We can go for the extra monster zone, I don't think it matters that much. So again, you can, as soon as your opponent activates a card effect, you can banish a tuner and then copy its effect. Pop a spell, pop a monster, preferably, or destroy their extra deck. That's this one. And then, yeah, clip also triggers, could be important, you know, banish one random card from their extra deck face down. Plus, maker also triggers bouncing a monster, for example, from their field back to the hand. Potentially again, more interruptions. That's not all, we still have the quick play spell, so we can use the quick play spell. Again, we had one in our hand, we searched it before, to search the last monster we need, to search mix. And as you know, the quick play spell lets our synchro summon as well during our opponent's turn, so we still have the 3 and the 2 to go for the level 5, let's call it the Omnication, the RS. Could be in defense, I guess, because its defense is a bit more, depends, right, on your opponent's setup. And as you know, don't forget, both of them could trigger if your opponent has like a spell or trap. If your opponent has a monster on field, you can pop both, because again, they were used for a synchro summon. So essentially this board now gives you, where is it, still the level 4 on field, you have another interruption, you have an Omnication plus the floodgate effect, so you know, adding in one extra level, and there is follow-up play for next turn, plus you still have 4 cards in your hand to play with, so really nice, this one. And with that, we're ending the video. So again, from the 3 archetypes, I think this one has the most potential. It might be a bit more expensive compared to the other 2, but I think they are definitely worth it to pick them up if they are relatively cheap, right? So I would definitely pick them up if you can. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Definitely take a look at the pinned comments, the sponsor. Again, thanks Yella for, you know, sending over all of the stuff. And at the same time, if you have any suggestions for the build, like, definitely let me know. Okay, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Riddim signing out. Peace.